Hello everyone, Radio here, and today we are reviewing Plague Inc. Evolved from Endemic Creations. This is an early access release that I picked up on my Steam account for $14.99, and it was released February 20th of this year, 2014. Now, this is a more in-depth game than perhaps the game you're used to on your cell phone or tablet. If you click this link down here, the original Plague Inc. is still available, and you can take this link to go to a web page and find out more about that. Today we're going to work in single-player mode. Multiplayer isn't yet ready. They're still working on this, as this is an early access build, but this should be ready soon. I believe they're on update 0.6.6, so they're getting closer to an actual release. And when you spend the $14.99, of course, you get all of the content that is going to be released with the game, and it should be just fine. Now, if we look in the leaderboards, we see that my whopping score is 10,150. I've played this a few times. I'm not an expert, but I have done fairly well with it, so I'm going to go over the game with you, what it does, and we'll do a little bit of a playthrough so you can see whether or not you'd like to purchase this game. You have your standard main menu options here. We have, general, audio, video, of course, controls, and accessibility. Now, in the general, what I would like to do is I'm going to turn the extra pop-ups off. These have some extra news and narratives in the game that you may want to check out, but for the sake of gameplay, they pop up so frequently that it may cause us to slow down. So we're going to turn the pop-ups off for now, but you're not really missing out on anything pertinent to gameplay itself, so don't worry about that. Under the Help and Info tab, we have a way to contact the game's developers in case we encounter any bugs, and we can send those along so it'll help them fix the game and have it released that much quicker. They also have a great section on how to play with all the information that you could possibly need to get started, and all of the things that we won't be going over in this tutorial, which you can see are fairly extensive. So let's go in here and start our single player game. We're going to use a main game, and in here you'll find that we have our plague types. There are several that you can choose from as you unlock them throughout the game. Right now I'm on bacteria and virus. We'll be using bacteria today because this is the starting point for the game. Virus I just unlocked last night by beating the game on normal. In this screen are the genetic code modifiers. You receive these by beating the game, and then they're available the next round you play, and they help make your plague a little more deadly in the beginning. We're going to go ahead and insert a few of these. I happen to like the cytochrome surge. This gives us more DNA from popping the orange bubbles, which we'll see in game, and these are kind of like the points we get to spend to evolve and modify our disease in game. In here, I tend to like the genetic mimic, because this makes the plague a little harder to cure, and we don't want scientists and doctors curing our disease before we've wiped out the entire human race. I've just unlocked the Terracite. I haven't used this before, but it says it's going to increase the chance of plague spreading by land. That's a good thing. And down here, I have the Zero file, which gives us a bonus in arid climates, so that'll help spread there as well. For game difficulty today, we're actually going to be using casual. These are for the new players, they're those wanting a quick game. We want a quick game today. I have beat it on normal. It was a little tricky. As you can see, more people wash their hands, doctors work more often, and sick people are ignored. If you go to brutal, doctors never go home, there's compulsive hand washers, and sick people are actually locked in prison. Mega brutal, of course, I can't even imagine because it was hard enough on normal. So let's start off with casual and move forward, and we're going to name our disease. The default name for this disease is actually PAX-12, and you know me, I'm always using random name generators or default names. I've just been taking this up one notch every single time I beat it, so right now we're going to go to PAX-19. I had thought about naming it after my ex-wife, but I think PAX-19 will suffice for now, and now we're in Plague Inc. So welcome to Plague Inc. We are a new bacteria, and to win, we must evolve and spread across the world, wiping out all humans in the ultimate plague. We need to select our start location, and when we click on it, we're going to see more information, and we pop the start bubble to confirm, and that's going to let us know that the game is live and up and running. Now, I had been using Southern Africa for quite a bit. Botswana and South Africa have been working really well for me. However, when I beat the game yesterday on normal, I used Italy in Central Europe, and I think that's what I'm going to do again today. Now, they do have money, as you can see by this icon, and they are an urban area, so they have a little bit of cash to kind of combat the disease, so we have to be careful to not make it too known too quickly. So let's go ahead and start with Italy, and it's going to give us a little pop-up here, and PAX-19 begins in Italy. It has infected its first human, weak and unspecialized. It must evolve using DNA points to infect more people. Your DNA points are on your lower left-hand side of the screen, and by popping these bubbles, we're going to get +1s, and we're also going to have an orange DNA bubble that we're going to be popping. I'm going to save up about 10 or 15 of these points, and then I'm going to show you in the edit mode how we evolve the disease so we can help it spread faster and kill more people. So we have 13 points now, and 19 people are infected, which is absolutely nothing, but it's a start. And using the shortcut Q key, we're going to go into our menu for our bacteria. It tells us where it started, the start location, what type it is, the difficulty, and just all the information you might need. This is what we're going to be paying attention to. This is our transmission map, and this is going to be where we select how the disease is spread. Using rodents, fleas are susceptible to infection, and then that increases the infectivity in urban regions and mutations. So this is what we want right off the bat, because as you recall, we are in an urban area. So we're going to click Evolve, or you can double click the icon. In the symptoms range, we have some to spend. I might do rash. It increases the severity right away. You can see there's a little sliver when I click off of it, but rashes are good, and it increases the infectivity. I'm going to go ahead and evolve that as well. I don't want to get too severe too quickly, because doctors and scientists will become aware that the disease is, as it says, scary, and they're going to start working on a cure. Of course, we want to stay away from lethality until we're really ready to kill people. But clicking on these, you start a chain of different things that will help kill people, as creepy as that sounds, and this is what we're going to be going over as we go down the chain to get better abilities. Now over here, it has cold, heat resistance, this is medicine resistance, and this is kind of an all-around climate resistance, but we're not going to get into those just yet. But that's the menu for our evolution of the disease. Let's start the game again. I've got it on twice the speed to move it along, and now we should probably see a decent amount of growth in the spread, because we've done two things to help it grow a little quicker. We can zoom in and play a little closer to the country if we'd want. I do tend to zoom out quite a bit as we spread to other countries, because the bubbles will pop up everywhere and they can be pretty quick to get to. Airplanes are using new sterilization air filters, and that means that the transmission of the disease is going to be a little more tricky when we're using airborne pathogens. So going in here under transmission, we see that Air 1, the transmission trait, travels on dust particles. We definitely will need to use this if we want to get out on airplanes. We may even have to go to the second stage. But for now, we're just going to keep growing with the ground game that we have. We've got some DNA points popping up, and we have 20 of them to spend now. So let's go ahead and we will mutate our disease again. Let's take a look around and see what's going to help us. Probably birds might not be a bad idea. Insects. Now this is more hot climates, but I don't think that we're in that area just yet. This is for rural climates. So let's start with birds. Birds kind of get all over. They fly a lot, so they migrate and whatnot. And new aid program for poor countries. That's fine. But this looks like we have infected our very first, well, our second country. So we've moved to our very first, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. We're taking over France. That's what I'm trying to say. Not only do we have Italy, but we also have France is infected. So we're going to get more people to catch our disease. And now we've moved into Central Europe. And this is the idea. We're going to spread all across this area. And as we get more disease points, I want to try to figure out how best to spread to other areas. Because we're in France and they have a seaport, I think I might use seaports early, and the reason for that is Greenland. These guys are a pain in the butt to infect because it's very far away, they only have a seaport, and it's really cold there, so it's resistant to some diseases. We have to use a cold specialty to make sure we infect Greenland. So cysts symptoms have mutated. Pax19 has mutated and developed the cyst symptoms without using DNA points. This can be a good thing. If we go under symptoms, what's happening is they kind of gave us a freebie, but we have to be careful with these, because if we get, again, too severe, people are going to notice this disease. I don't think I want cysts just yet, so if you want, you can click de-evolve, and essentially what will happen is you'll get 2 free points. Now, we will be using or losing a little bit of infectivity, but I'm okay with that because we have points saved up, and we can go ahead and spread the disease the way that we would like to. I'm going to go ahead and use our water, and that's going to help spread that around on seaports, like I said before. And let's save up a few more points, and let's see what else we might want to spend it on. And we have now infected the Balkan states, and we're moving right across Europe here. This is going to be good. We have to think about climates soon, because this is kind of the mid-range. Obviously it's hotter here and colder here, so we're going to have to think about that. I think I'm going to go cold first, so we can infect Russia and Canada, Greenland. We have some points saved up. Now, let's see, transmission. We want abilities, and cold resistance 1. We're going to do that. And we have enough also for bacterial resilience 1, so let's do that as well. That's going to make the disease a little tougher in the different climates. So as I say with news, sometimes it's very helpful, and this is letting us know that very high levels of bird migration are expected. This is good news for us because we have already chosen birds as a point of transmission. We can go to birds too. Right now I don't have that option because we don't have enough points. We need 21, but it lets us know that this is going to be a bonus for us. I do want to start using something else to help transmit the disease. I think I'm going to go with insects. Blood is a good one, but it works better in poor regions. So let's go ahead and use insect 1, and let's get back in the game. And as you can see, we're already 10 million people deep and counting, and we've just moved in to the Middle Eastern areas, and this is going to be the dry arid. And now we have nausea. Do we want nausea? Let's take a look at our symptoms. Nausea is here, and if we de-evolve, we don't always have to click yes to the de-evolution, but it'll let us know. These slivers here kind of let us know whether or not we want to have this. It's not doing us a whole lot of good with infectivity. It's adding a little severity, so I'm going to actually de-evolve for now and continue the game. Now there will come a time that I'll actually welcome those evolutions, those free evolutions, because they're points that we don't have to spend. So we've infected Russia. That's pretty good. We have 17 points to spend, so now I want to take a look at how I can get this even further around. With Russia and some of the Middle Eastern countries, I'm actually going to go ahead and use livestock because they are rural regions, and this is what this is good for. So let's evolve using livestock, and we hit 3 right in a row, and sometimes they'll come just like that. That's pretty quick. I think pretty soon we're actually going to go ahead and move on to making sure that we can move into airports. We're going to use the air filtration, or the bacterial will defeat the air filtration systems. We have enough now to go ahead and do that, so let's do Air 1, and you'll see upgrade lets airplanes be infected again. So now we can get on airports, and we've already hit America and Japan, and it looked like Kazakhstan, I'm not sure, but yeah, we're spreading widely, and this is what we want. We want to get, 200 million people plus. We have to get them infected, and then when we have enough points, we ramp up the lethality of the disease and start wiping people out. So I have 27 points now to spend, and I have to start thinking about what else I might like to do. Abilities are pretty important, and I think we have both colds. I don't. Let's do cold resistance 2, just in case. Fairly soon we're going to want a drug resistance, but do we have any other options for transmission? So that's what we're going to do for now. We need a few more points, but we're really getting close. As you can see, we're infecting the world quite quickly. Now cysts. Do we want cysts? Let's look in here, and we did no before. We're going to do no again right now. I just am not quite ready for it to be that severe. I don't want to draw attention to it. Well, that was quick, and now we have 28 points in which to spend. I'm going to go look at transmission again, and let's go ahead and do... Boy, let me think. More birds or... Well, the rodents are a little cheaper, and they have the same amount of infectivity, so let's do a rodent 2 and move along and see how fast that helps us get across the globe. Look at Russia. It's unbelievable, and we have hit Greenland, which is a great stride for us because they really can be a pain in the butt. Watch out for Greenland, because as I stated before, they just are tough to infect, and then the disease has to survive the cold, which we're easily doing now. We have more points to spend. I'm going to go in here. Let's do our first drug resistance. This is just going to help us make sure that people are not going to easily go through and stop the evolution of our disease. And we can do genetic hardening 1. This decreases future research speed. I'm going to save up for drug resistance 2, I think, and go this way. And then we save this when they actually start researching. We drop that on them. It reduces the amount, like right here. This percentage shows how close the world is to a cure. So if we save that and we hit it, it drops the percentage amount, and they have to slow down. Or you can, preload it by getting it in advance. That's fine too. But we're going to wait on that and just get some more points. The Festival in Love is in Canada this year, and the Festival in Love, people kiss a lot, and kissing is translated by nausea. Nausea has a slight chance of infection when kissing, so we're going to go ahead and evolve to nausea, and that's hopefully going to infect Canada and get them taken care of. We Americans are still mad at them for beating us at hockey in the Olympics. A new minor disease is spreading. So in a normal checkup, a doctor in the Balkan states found a new disease which has been named Pax-19, and it appears to be mostly harmless but should be investigated further. So they are aware of it now, and I would imagine so because worldwide we have over half the world. We have 3.6 billion people infected, and they're now just catching up to us. Now again, we're playing on casual. Look at Greenland, wow. Now we are playing on casual, however, this is still good news for us because they're not yet really starting to hard go after a cure. We have cysts. Now the question is, what would I like to do? I think we're going to start moving forward with actually killing people. We have cysts. Let's look at cysts. Cysts was here. The painful lumps. Let's just go ahead and let that play out. See what happens. We have to infect. We don't have to infect the world before we start killing people. But Poland has now started working on a cure. When that happens, I do like to start going ahead and killing people because it's almost a race against the clock with the cure from the world. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do drug resistance 2 because I just want to make sure we're going to want this soon. I want to make sure that we have a little bit of resistance. Now let's go back to symptoms. Of course, all of the good stuff is kind of in the middle, but I have noticed that this works pretty well. We're going to go with sweating. And we're going to go with fever. Now we actually start to get into the lethality of it, and it also turns into severe disease as well. Skin lesions is pretty good. It really helps the infectivity, so I'm going to do that first. Now what was this one? Necrosis. Look at that. That's a whole lot of lethality and a whole lot of severity and a lot of infectivity, so we're going to evolve to that. We can look at hemorrhagic shock, which is pretty good. It's only 20 DNA points. So these slivers, this is what we're after. We are now ready to kill people. So that's what we're going to be saving our points and spending them on. And Canada looks like it's going to be taken over by the infection. And we have our first death in the Middle East. Pax-19 has killed somebody. Is it bad luck or the beginning of something terrible? And we are after terrible. We might have to do something about Africa here, though, because we don't have a lot of infection there. Well, we have our 28 points, so let's go ahead and jump up our hemorrhagic shock, and you can see the disease grows, and it grows little arms, and it grabs a bunch of little buddies every time you evolve it, and of course, this is showing us a map of what we're infecting, and right now, your guts. Boy, bad news, I would not want to have this thing. It's going to kill you really quick. We've already got 36 points again because when you do a big jump like that and you start killing a lot of people, we get additional points. So let's look in here, and let's look at the genetic reshuffle. This means that there is much more work needed to develop a cure, so let's go ahead and evolve that, and we'll get back to the game. And now they're focused on the cure, of course, so that's going to help slow down. See, it went backwards for just a quick second. Now we have the fever, and in the fever, I believe that's over... Well, I don't even know where that is. Is that here? Here's the fever. It was no, it gave us that for free, and it can be fatal. We're getting close to being able to move on to something else. I could go this route, but I'm not worried about it. The infectivity, we're pretty much where we need to be. Yeah, we're taking over now Africa, and they're closing ports and things like that. So really all we want to do is make sure that we're killing people quicker than we're curing them. Brazil has begun to broke down, and cure research is starting to slow. Excellent. And the more we kill, the more points we get, and the faster we can make the disease spread. Well, it's already spreading. We need to start killing more people. 26 points. Let's see. Wow, that's moving quick. Let's see what we can do with that. Internal hemorrhaging. That sounds pretty awful. Look at the severity and more lethality. Let's do that. Let's take a look over here. What do we have? This is hemophilia. Tumors aren't bad. I know right around in here, so we may have to go through tumors to get in here, but there's some nasty stuff over here, and actually there's some nasty stuff there's nasty stuff everywhere. I mean, it's disease after all, folks. But as you can see, we are really starting to wipe out the human race at a breakneck pace. I think we have this one in the bag. I don't think they're going to get to a cure fast enough. We have 41 points to spend. Let's go ahead and look at what do we have here. Immune suppression. That's a great one. And then total organ failure. If we can get to 36 points, look at that son of a gun. That is absolutely going to wipe you out. So let's see if we can get to 36 points before we wipe out the human race. And the map is ominously turning more and more dark. Pax-19 has been placed on the watch list and is already dangerous. Governments are warned that it could be unstoppable. Certainly, I think we are at that point. Now, Brazil is leading a global cure effort. What they're going to do is send a plane from Brazil to different parts of the world, and it's a blue plane. Just track the plane, and when it lands, you're going to see, oh, and we have infected the very last healthy person on the planet with Pax-19, which means Mortality is going to be 100%. We've got this one in the bag, but let me show you about the plane just in case you run into this in a longer game. When it lands, pop the blue bubble. When it comes back, pop the blue bubble. So all you have to do is follow the plane. Whenever it leaves, just kind of follow where it goes. Click that bubble because you don't want to speed up the cure. India is in anarchy because of our disease. Let's go in here, and I want to add total organ failure because holy cow, I've never done that before. That looks nasty. And we could even put in a coma at some point if we're lucky. That's extra points, but I don't think we're going to make it that far because we're going to kill everybody so quickly. You can see how quickly the human race is dying off. It's quite morbid, but this game is so addictive and is so much fun. And we have hypersense. We've got a free mutation. We have this one all wrapped up. It's all elementary at this point. We are killing off the human race. Boy, oh boy. Follow the plane. Click the bubble. And we even have more points to spend, although it's just not even necessary at this point. We have quickly and easily dispatched of the entire human race, and we'll show you the end game here. It winds down a little slower, as you might guess, because of all of the rural areas. I guess the last people are still flying this plane, but that's not an issue. As you can see, research has stopped, and the reason for that is because there are simply not enough people to actually research the disease. They just don't have a chance. So this is the interesting screen. And it makes me happy because we've won the game, but it's just, if you read this, Pax-19 has destroyed the world despite the world's best efforts. The last few humans know they are watching the end of history. That's pretty unsettling, but that is also what is so exciting about this game, is we're killing off everyone. And we've successfully done it with our bacteria. We'll show you the end results here in just a minute. And it took 610 days. It was a very complex design. By the end, our cure progress, they made it to 40%. We only got 2 biohazards, and I don't know why yet. It has to do with, I believe, maybe the starting modifiers we have, or how quickly we killed. The difficulty was only casual, of course, but we decided to wipe out the human race. That is exactly what we achieved. So I hope you've enjoyed this game. If you did enjoy it, go ahead over to the links that are in the description below. Drop the $14.99. You can pick it up and go kill the world yourself. In the meantime, do me a favor, leave a comment in the section below if you'd like to see more Plague Inc. Evolved. I'm thinking about doing a Let's Play on that. Let me know what you think, and as always, please like and subscribe, and we're going to see you next time for another radio review.